Welcome to the Power of Love show, sponsored by the D.D. Jackson Foundation, where we shine a light on loss and grief and how it impacts our lives. We are here to provide hope, resources, and a community so no one feels alone in their grief. Enjoy the show. Welcome to the Power of Love show, sponsored by the D.D. Jackson Foundation, where we shine a light on loss and grief and how it impacts our lives. My name is T.D. Jackson. And with me is my brother, Taj Jackson.
What's going on, T?
Nothing much, Taj. Today's date is June 23rd. And for anyone who is joining us right now, you may be watching us on Facebook or YouTube. And you may be listening to us on a podcast. And we want to thank you, each and every one of you, for joining us, for watching us, supporting the Power of Love show, and just growing with us. We, of course, are live. And we do this interactive show once a week, every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for one simple goal, and that's to improve and help anyone who may be going through things in life that is difficult. We have a disclaimer that we often read and say. That disclaimer is that we are not licensed therapists. We are just ordinary people who've experienced loss in our lives. We've been impacted by it, and we've learned from it. Saying that, if you need professional help, we urge you to seek it and find it. Please do not rely on us. Taj Jackson, we have a great show lined up. We have a special life coach who is a constant smile. People say that about me, and it's really cool to see someone else who smiles as much as this guy does. But before we invite our guests to joining us, I want to know, how was your week?
It's good. I don't really remember a lot of it. Just been basically tending to the babies, so that's been great. I feel a little more refreshed now. I'm getting a little more sleep than I did before.
Taj, how many weeks is baby? And are we allowed to say names yet or no?
Yeah.
Okay, so how many weeks
Taylor and Toria? How many weeks? Toria was born on May 5th, so it's a little over a month and 2 weeks, 1 week?
About a month and
2 weeks, yeah.
And anything you've learned different with Toria?
That it's harder with two. Yeah, for sure. It is for sure harder with two. Yeah. But Taylor's been a rock star in that way. She's been incredible. And Toria just needs a lot of love and attention. So they both do, but a lot of attention.
Yeah. And I don't know if this is a secret or you don't plan to say anything, but are you continuing? Is this it? And if you don't want to answer that,
I said 3 or 4. So 3 is going to be the magic number. So
okay.
Yeah. That doesn't change anything. Yeah. The struggle is temporary. That's how I like it.
That's true. Well,
I like 3, TJ. I mean, we could stop at 2, but I like 3. There's no way that, even if it's 3 girls in a row, then that's what it'll be. But I would prefer 2 girls and a boy.
Okay. Well, either way, I was just telling someone this, that if you even want another boy or expect to have another girl, you want a girl, either way, it always works out. You know, it's one of those 100%. Things you can't imagine life without that specific baby. So whatever it is, just, it's always going to work out. And that's cool. I'm just happy. It's fun seeing you as a father, Taj. You're the last one.
For me as well, in the mirror. It's interesting. Yeah. For me, it's hard when they're that fragile at that age. That's my if anyone wants to know my kryptonite, it's a baby under 3 months old. Like, that is literally my hands. I have big hands. I have big, so it's like I'm just scared to grab them or in that way. So after they become more strong,
You've gotten better with that, I assume.
I've gotten better, but it's still hard.
Okay. Well, my week, Taj, I'm in Nashville writing and recording. I'm in the middle of a long road trip, as you know, and this is about halfway point. And my family's in Texas, so I fly down actually this weekend to go get them. But I forgot how much enjoyable road trips can be when you're with family
Yeah.
and just seeing the country, and it's been a beautiful time. So that's what I've been up to. Again, I'm in Nashville recording, so I'm taking a week off from sightseeing. But I want to suggest to anyone out there that to spend time. It's a simple thing, I think, to do is to go on a little trip and road trip. But let's not forget about that, because that's a simple thing that sometimes life gets too busy and we forget to do those simple things. And it's just very enjoyable. So,
do you remember going on road trips when you were really young?
Todd, you know which one I remember? I remember going to see the Grand Canyon, actually, in the motorhome.
Yeah.
But I remember being sick for it, so I don't remember the Grand Canyon. I remember taking Pepto-Bismol for the first time, and it made me throw up even more. So I was like, I'll never take this again. I don't think I've taken it since. But I remember
every time I've taken Pepto-Bismol.
That was
like a memory that you just
awful.
Yeah.
But all is good, and the kids are all enjoying it, and the family's loving it. We're making memories, so it's a beautiful thing.
Nice. Good. I'm happy you're doing it too.
Yeah. All right, Taj, enough about us. We have a special guest, as I mentioned earlier, joining us. On today's episode of the Power of Love show, we welcome Mr. Bruno Alcantara. I hope I'm saying his name right. If I'm not, Bruno will correct me. But Bruno is a certified professional life coach through the Institute for Professional Excellence in Coaching. He is a member of the International Coaching Federation, an Energy Leadership Index Master Practitioner, and a COR Transitions Dynamic Specialist. As a professional life coach, Bruno helps his clients increase self-love and make positive changes in their lives. Bruno is here today to discuss what exactly self-love is and how it has changed his life and can change ours too. In addition to his work as a life coach, Bruno is also a model on the television show Rupaul's Drag Race, a samba dancer, and an event producer. Everyone, you know what we do here. Without much further ado, please welcome to the Power of Love show our dynamic guest, Mr. Bruno Alcantara.
Yeah.
Bruno.
Hello.
Bruno, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here with you. And what a nice introduction.
Yay. You know what? Did I get the name right, Bruno?
You did. You got it.
Perfect. I love all that. You are pretty impressive, my friend. That's the best word I can use is all these accolades and certifications and member of this, and that's impressive, man.
Well,
it's impressive.
Just doing my best, trying to grow and learn a little bit more every day.
Well, here's my first question for you, Bruno. What exactly, or let me say this, how exactly would you define self-love?
Well, that's a really good question. I think there are so many different ways to talk about self-love and describe self-love. One of the ways I like to use is this close, intimate relationship with yourself and all the effort you put to get the best of you. And that takes so much. There's so many things involved on that, and of course, being compassionate to yourself, forgiving yourself, be there for yourself and the ups and downs and so many things, but really have this close relationship with yourself and get to know yourself so then you can, do your best in life.
I like that.
So, Bruno, give us a little bit of your background about yourself and where on your journey you first discovered this power of self-love.
Well, I'm originally from Brazil, as you can probably tell by his accent. I grew up in a really simple family, but I was raised with a lot of love. And I can still hear my mom saying, Bruno, be successful means to be happy.
Ooh.
And as I grew up, I had to figure out, how can I then be happy? How can I make myself happy? And I think it was really the key, realizing that, my happiness is not in anyone else's hands. It's with me. And in order to do that, I really have to love who I am, embrace all the parts of me, have the best relationship possible with myself. Yeah. And that's when I really realized, okay, self-love it's the key here. I need to learn how to do that and to live the best life with myself.
Yeah. I think your mom teaching you that happiness is success is a beautiful thing. Was that a common thing where you grew up in Brazil? Because here in the States, I feel like the mindset is independence or some type of achievement or material achievement is defined as success and not happiness. And as I said in the intro, Bruno, I love how you just smile. You're always smiling, and it's a beautiful thing. And I'm curious to know also, do you feel that's in a connection to what your mom taught you?
I guess that's just how I am. I like to be smiling around.
Yeah.
Yes, but my mom is a really wise woman and so inspiring. We have a great relationship. And, coming from a simple family, and I was always a big dreamer. I always wanted to achieve so many things. You see, sometimes it can look like really difficult or sometimes even impossible to achieve all the things you want for your life. And she was always there reminding me that, no matter what you want, you got to be happy. And this or that doesn't mean that you're going to be totally happy. So what is that really drives you, that motivates you? What is that gives you the spark? Go and do that. And I think that was empowering and really impactful in my life.
So I'm curious to know, Bruno, then what made your mother mad at you? Because that's amazing. So how did you get in trouble? What did Bruno do to upset mom? If mom seems very positive and happy and encouraging, what did you do? What would switch that for mom?
Not totally mad, but I think it really, the fact that I left my house really early because I needed to, move forward and explore life and learn things. I think that really affected her a little. And she's still calling me every single day and telling me, when are you coming to stay for a month? I'm like, I'm not sure about a month.
Yeah. So, Bruno, can you break down the 3-step process you believe helps us access self-love? Acknowledge, embrace, and practice. Am I saying those 3 right?
Yes, you are. So acknowledge, embrace, and practice. I believe there is no improvement and grow and moving forward in life if you're not able to acknowledge where you are at, who you are, your current situation. So acknowledging is the first step in this process where you get to look at yourself and see who you are and what is it that you're not really totally accepting about yourself? What has been blocking you for accept all the pieces of yourself? And I think that's the first step to allow you to move forward in life. Another way I could say that is if we are going on a trip, for example, first thing you do, you get a map and you look at it and you know exactly where you are and where you want to go. And that helps you to give you directions. Same thing. Second step, it's embrace. Embrace is like look at yourself as a friend would do. And it's important to be able to see your assets, your skills, the tools you have available, and embrace them in your favor. That's going to help you to improve, to move forward in life. And it doesn't matter how broke you think you are, how sad or how your current situation it is. We all have some beautiful things to bring light into. And this is really the key for self-love.
Nice.
And then practice. Self-love is a practice. And I also like to say self-love is a practice and a process. You don't just wake up one day and you love every single thing about you, I talk a lot about self-love. I help so many clients with self-love, but I'm still in my self-love process too. So practice is how you get good at things, how you become a professional at something. By training, by practicing over and over, So it's an everyday thing. You got to be able to be nice to yourself, be kind, and do whatever you can every single day to get the best of you. Just do yourself right, and clean up the edges and just.
I love that. I love that. You believe, Bruno, that self-love is the best form of love. And you also believe that self-love is contagious. Why do you feel this way?
Oh, wow. Well, I believe we all come from love. And as we go through life, we may or may not disconnect from this loving energy. But love is the foundation. And we can only give what we have. So it's really important for all of us to find ways to support ourselves emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, all the ways possible, because nobody's coming to save you. So it's really important to give yourself the love that you search. Fill your own cup so that way you have more than enough to share all around. That's why I believe self-love is the best love. And by doing that, what is the most beautiful thing is that self-love affects not only the individual, but the community or the society as a whole. Because by honoring yourself, by loving yourself, you just inspire people around you to do the same. We all have the person or someone that you see, they walk into a room and you're just like, oh my God, there is something about this person that, I want some of that, Self-love is contagious. So by just taking care of yourself and love yourself and, moving forward in your own process, you are able to inspire so many other people around. And that's amazing.
I love that. And Sophia has a great comment right here. She says, if you don't love yourself, how can you expect anyone else to? I think it's very profound. Taj, is there anything before I ask more questions? I don't want to cut my brother off. So is there anything you want to ask Bruno at the moment?
No, I'm just listening, Bruno. I love what you're saying because it is true. I love the cup analogy. You got to fill your own cup up to, in that way to give to others. And I love that. So yeah, I'm just listening. Everything's great.
Okay, Todd, you let me know. We still haven't figured this little system out where I want to make sure I honor when Big Bro wants to say something.
Yeah.
But Bruno, you have overcome.
It turned off.
You can hear me?
Now I can. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Bruno, you've overcome obstacles and hard times in your personal life. What advice would you give to someone who may be going through a hard time right now and not able to access the self-love that's needed to improve their situation or their quality of life? What advice would you give to someone who's just struggling at the moment?
I would say be patient with yourself, and don't give up because it gets better. And you are your best project. And you cannot do without you. That's the point. You can have a whole team of people and family and cheering you out all the time. But if you don't have yourself, it's going to be really tough. So don't give up on yourself. Do whatever you can right now to feel a little better. Whatever little thing is possible to just improve your mood a little. And if you are really, really in a dark moment, something that can really help is try to be a service. Do something nice for somebody else. Because when you cannot see really value in what you do in your life, by doing for somebody else, you receive this love back. Even if it's just a smile, a hug, a call, whatever it is. So you're going to feel value in yourself just by doing that.
Nice.
I love that. I love that. And what I love is you saying patience. You started with patience. And I think that's something that we need to really grasp because our world is moving faster and faster and faster, and we're getting less and less patient. And I think that's one of the biggest issues is that to make change and to improve yourself takes time. And sometimes we want things to happen immediately. And if it doesn't, we think we're failing, and it's just an ugly cycle of sadness and depression. So thank you for that, because most people don't say the word patient, and you let off that answer with patience. So I thought that was brilliant. I mean, this is a similar question, but in case you want to wing off this, Bruno, Angie wants to know what are some ways that you, or what are some things that you do to stay positive?
You know, it's something that we hear a lot, but I think it's really important to be able to count your blessings. You know, look back to your life and see all the achievements that you had. You know, it's important to celebrate yourself, all the steps on the way. You know, that's what self-love is. Be there for you in the ups and downs. Celebrate yourself too. You got this. You know, only you know how rewarding it is what you just accomplished. For somebody else may not be anything, but for you, you know how much effort, how much it took you. So it's important to look around, be aware of the success that you already have, how much you overcame already, and you know how many things you're able to do. Because the same way you did all those things, you're able to do everything else that is coming your way. There's nothing you cannot handle. I really believe that.
Yes. Love that.
So, and then Bruno, you do life coaching, correct?
Yes, I do.
Can you explain to our community what your life coaching is, where they can find you, and what they can expect?
For sure. In my coaching, I use self-love as a transformation tool because I believe self-love is the key, is the base to help you to move forward and to help the world. I believe we can really change the world by loving ourselves, embracing who we are, feeling comfortable and feeling good in our own skin. Because when you do that, you're able to apply the same love around. When you love yourself, you most likely you'll be more compassionate, more empathetic. You're going to be more present. You're going to be more respectful. You'll be able to cherish what is different from you. And that's a big, big change in everything you do, in all your relationships, personal relationships, professional relationships. So in my coaching, I use self-love to empower people, uplift, and make changes, realize they can hold space so they can get from where they are to where they want to go, whatever that looks like.
Someone, Bruno, has a wonderful question for you. There's obviously a lot of agreement. Don't give up. Love that. Your personality is beautiful, so uplifting. That's from Denise Banks. Here's another good question from Angie. She says, how and when did you start to love yourself?
Well, as I said before, self-love is a everyday practice, and we're never gonna get there. So it's a matter of being gentle with yourself and learn to have fun. We also need to understand that we are not perfect, we'll never be, and people are not either. When you learn to be okay and accept your imperfections, it's a really game changer too, you know? So I try to love myself a little bit every day in everything I do, even when I'm not feeling 100%.
Yeah, that's very interesting because for me, like, I was late to the game. Like all through high school and whatever, I really had problems embracing myself and the self-love. The self-love game for me came much later. I had to kind of learn it, but then once I learned it, it was almost like I had to tear down who I was and start over, but just a new me in a way. And once I did that, like everything changed for me in that way, and I've never looked back. And that's why I am so positive. That's why I am so, when things happen out of my reach or whatever, I'm not as dire or whatever. I don't get so scared because it's like I've gone through that already in that way in terms of it. So everything you're saying, I love what you're saying because it does take practice. It's not, you know, and it's constant work. It's not like I'm like, oh, I'm here, I'm perfect now or whatever. It's every day you work on it and you work on it. So everything you're saying is great in that way. I just want the listeners to know too, like I've been there. I've been to the point where I've hated everything about myself and I've had to like literally start and go, okay, what are the as you said, what are the positives? You know, what do I have, you know, that I like about myself? And then from there, and then you get that self-worth from helping others, as you said too. And it was a process, but I'm very happy where I am now because it was that process. I went through that process. So everything you're saying, I agree with.
And I'm going to answer this as well, but I want to also, before I do so, I want to ask the community, if anyone here is watching YouTube, Facebook, do you love yourself? And I want to see in the comments your answer. And if not, what is stopping you from loving yourself? Yeah. I think that would be a cool thing to see and learn about from our community, and see what advice maybe Bruno or myself or Taj would have.
Can I say something in terms of what I think it might be before that? For me, comparing yourself to other things or other people is what my worst enemy was. Always compared to someone as opposed to just being happy with what I had in that way. And social media makes it hard because you see everyone else either fake happy or, showing what they're doing and all that stuff. And some people are happy, obviously, but you see all those images and you're like, why can't I be like that? And whatever. So once I realized that a lot of those imageries were not true in that way, no one's always 100% happy, or 100%, no arguments or whatever, then it really made me feel like, okay, nothing's wrong with me in that way.
Right? Yeah.
I love that you said
well
that.
Well said, Taj.
Huh? I'm sorry. Just want to comment something very quick. I like to say that it's really positive to get inspired by other people doing, but it doesn't mean it's going to work out for you.
Yes.
So that's why in the journey of self-love, you have to get to know yourself, your values, and what really drives you and makes you happy. So you go looking for the things that really connects you and not just trying to do what everybody else is doing.
Good. Great point. I love that.
That's great, Bruno. And this is actually a super chat from Constantine, who already says they follow you and love your positive energy. So I love that. And for those who don't know, this is risky that I'm doing this, but I'm going to do it now since I mentioned following Bruno. You can follow him on Instagram at Bruno C. Alcantara. You can also follow him on Twitter. And here is Facebook, and the website is www.brunocalcantara.com. Anyways, back to Constantine. She has a great super chat. She says, social media are depressing me lately.
You said she.
What did I do, Taj?
You said he, she, it's he.
Oh, I'm sorry. He. Social media are depressing me lately. I'm trying to post mostly positive things, but the negativity that is circulating is so much. Any advice?
What I would say is, you got to keep your light on in order to help the world. So try not to absorb so much or take things too personal, We need you. We need your happiness. You need your joy of life. We need your love. We need to keep sharing this love as you're already doing it. That's exactly what we need. And we need to keep this going on. So you just got to find ways to sometimes recharge, restart, and don't absorb every single thing that is in there. That's the best way to be at service and help the world.
Bruno, I have a question for you. A lot of people always suggest, if you're going through tough times or you've been depressed lately or just in a sad frame of thoughts, people often suggest to unplug from social media. That's something I suggest, and I've actually had to do myself in the recent times. Within the last year, I've had to unplug myself several times. I'm curious to know, do you ever have to unplug yourself? Have you done that? Have you disconnected from social media because you felt it was either getting overwhelming or just more of a negative thing? And if you haven't, I'm curious to know, how do you avoid that? How are you able to continue to stay on social media and still remain so positive and upbeat?
I love the question. I think it's a matter of find your own balance. So whatever that looks like to you. Yeah, sometimes I feel like, okay, this week I don't need to post too much. This week I'm just gonna be more present in my own life, take care of myself. So there is no right and wrong in anything in life, I believe. It's just a matter of what works for you and what is your balance at, And I also like to use my social media to, in a positive way, to impact people's life. And so you feel like you can take something positive. I try to share a little bit of my story, and I try to share a few words of love.
Mhm.
So, that's the point. I really want to live this world a little bit better and make people feel a little better,
Yeah. Nice.
And Caitlin says a great comment. She says, unfollow any negative accounts. Fill your feed with positive content. I think this is crucial. And again, Bruno C. Alcantara is the Instagram if you want to follow Bruno, who's always smiling. There he goes. And I love it. How can you not be positive with the smile? But I wonder, and I'm curious to know both your answer, Bruno and Taj. I wonder, is that enough? Because if you fill yourself with just positive content, is there an inner person in you that compares to what, a beautiful picture with the beautiful, is there something in you that will always compare yourself to others and you're always feeling short? Did that make sense or no? Yes, no?
I know it made sense to me, but maybe because I'm your brother, so I know what you're saying.
Well, Todd, maybe you answer first and you can kind of rearrange the question so it makes sense to the rest of the world.
Well, I think it was more of like quotes and stuff like in terms of positive instead of just like imagery in that way. So like I still don't compare myself to, first of all, my happiness, as Bruno said, is the main goal in that way. And happiness doesn't, the success aspect of it is being happy. And once you change that mindset as the success being doing well in a job or this or that's a different kind of success, but that's not the main success. The main success is being happy. And so once I changed that, then it was much easier for me because as I can keep myself happy with certain tools and certain things, but social media doesn't control that in that way. And I can change my mindset by just not allowing social media to be that powerful. But I had to block some people. I did in that way. So unfollowing, that was been the first start of it, because I used to not unblock anyone. And certain people just are unhappy and want to make you unhappy to feel company, basically, to feel not alone. And I learned that lesson too. And I can't help them if I'm unhappy. You have to be happy and then hopefully spread, as Bruno said, that love and light to everyone else, because it's an overabundance, and you walk into a room and you're happy and everyone else is like, I want some of that, as you said, Bruno, in that way. So that's the key for me in that. So I don't really compare, even with someone, like, it's not the success aspect of it that when I see on social media, that I'm like, oh, obviously I want to be successful, but I'm saying that's not what dictates my happiness anymore.
Bruno, do you want, Taj, I guess, answered it, but if you wanted to add, feel free. If not, I have a couple more comments for you.
I just think that we all have our problems and situations, and it's just a matter of how you deal with them.
Yeah.
And the best way is the best attitude possible, as easy as possible. And I know sometimes can be really difficult, but what is the best way to get it done, to solve this, What is the best attitude possible here, It's a matter of how you deal with things. We all have our things. And I think it's also important, as you guys already said, that, where is it that you're being consuming on social media? What is it that you're connecting yourself to, observing, And that's also, be aware of that, and how is that affecting me,
Beautiful.
Wonderful. I love it.
Bruno, Yolanda has a cool comment. She says, Bruno is giving me Prince, the singer vibes. He seems very warm and caring.
Yes, thank you. I take that.
Yeah, that's a compliment. That's a big compliment.
For sure.
And then talking about music and Prince, of course, Lena Hunt says, music helps me feel positive. And she wants to know, Bruno, do you have any specific songs that help you feel positive?
Well, first, I love meditation, so it's totally connected to music. And then sometimes I do some guided meditation. Sometimes I just play some chill music and I let it flow. I love chill music in general, so it makes me feel good. I love the sound of nature, and this whole thing, it really helps to raise my vibration and makes me feel full of energy, you know.
Nice. Love that.
Bruno, do you listen to nature? Like, what do you listen to? Like campfires and waterfalls, that kind of stuff? Or what do you listen to?
I like the sound of water and birds.
Yeah.
I really like that. Fire can be really nice too. I mean, there's so many things available that sometimes it's just like, let's sit this one.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds good. And I just sit down there a little.
Yeah.
And
I love that. I love that. Okay, so Bruno, what can people, and I know we touched on this, but we're about to close the show, and I want to give you a great opportunity to tell people what to expect if they sign up for life coaching, and how can they reach you if they're interested in doing so?
well, what I do really is holding space for you to realize your own power, to understand that, to see that you are the star of your life and you are able to do whatever you want to, you know. I really believe we have the power to change, to improve, to grow, to move forward, and to get over our limiting beliefs and, you know, have a prosper and happier life, whatever that looks like, because happiness, success is subjective. So I'm going to help you to realize your own values and what really motivates you, your goals, and help you to move forward. The coaching process is goal-oriented, and it's dedicated to serve your own agenda, not mine, because I understand that you know better about your life than I do. But I have some skills and tools to help you to get there. So that's pretty much what I do.
And how can people find you? What's the best way to look into your life coaching and sign up? What's the best way to do so?
Well, you can access my website and brunoalcantara.com. And that is a form there that you can fill up, or if you want to just send me an email, contact at brunoalcantara.com, or if you want to go on my Instagram, whatever way is better for you, you can contact me. I'm here.
There you go. Okay. So, Bruno, I warned you before we started that we end the show giving our guests up to a minute to talk about whatever they want to talk about. Favorite movie, favorite book, life lesson. You can talk about your coaching, whatever you want to talk about, Bruno. You have up to a minute, my friend, starting right now.
I'm gonna start with this. There's so many books that I love, but there is this one book that really was really powerful in my life, and it's called Daring Greatly, and it's from Brené Brown, and talks a lot about vulnerability. And I think vulnerability is a power, even though so many people see it as a weakness. So that was really powerful in my life. And on that note, I want to say that it's really important to dare to be yourself, dare to take risks and to move forward. You know, life can be challenging, but it's also delicious. You just need to find the flavors in it. And by being yourself and loving who you are, you will bring your own flavor to life, because authenticity is your special flavor. So I think it's important to dare in life. And just to keep it going here, I want to talk about, you know, people will have their own perception about yourself. We all see the world through our own lenses. So it's impossible to please everyone, to make everyone happy. So just do what makes you happy. And I'm not saying you're going to do anything to hurt people. I'm just saying the best thing you can do for the world, it's make yourself happy, because I believe that happy people make people happy. So do you focus on yourself, and by doing that, you're doing the best thing possible. That's all I want to say.
Love it. Love it. Well said, Bruno. I don't I'm not mad at that. You
Yeah,
brought
great
more
stuff.
happiness into the world. Instead of talking about a movie or a meal, you talked about happiness. And again, even before we saw you here today, I mentioned how you're always smiling, and it's a beautiful thing, and it's contagious. And we, on behalf of my brother and our entire foundation, we want to thank you for bringing that happiness and that love to our community. For everyone watching, again, you can follow Bruno on Instagram at Bruno BrunoC Alcantara. So it's BrunoCAlcantara. You can also go to his website, which is the same spelling. It's just going to be www.BrunoCalcantara.com. Taj Jackson, before I officially close, is there anything else you want me to say or you want to say to the community or Bruno?
No, I love this episode and this, so thank you, Bruno, because we need more of this. We need, love, empathy, happiness. That's what this world needs right now. So thank you for coming on our show.
Yeah. So, and before we close, I guess I got to highlight one more comment from Miss Silent Siren. Can you book Bruno for the rest of the year? He's great. So, Bruno, our community loved you. Please keep smiling. Thank you so much, and thank you to everyone who did the super chats to support DDJF. It means the world to us. So, thank you all so much. On behalf of my brother Taj and the foundation, and of course Bruno, we want to thank you guys for tuning in, watching, listening. And for everyone, we will see you guys next Wednesday at 1 p.m. for a new episode. Please be safe. And as Bruno said, keep smiling and always self-love.
Yes.
All right, everyone. God bless you all and adios.
Adios.